Hey, what's up, everybody? It's been a while since we did one of those. So let me know in the chat if the audio's good and everything, my mic, and if the music's too loud. But yeah, we're back. And we're in Modeler this time. It's the first time. Previous stream, we're doing Medium. And I've been switching to Modeler for, I don't know, the past 6 months or so. And today I wanted to jump into Modeler and make some kind of robot, as usual. It's the ref I have for now. Some StarCraft stuff, some Mech stuff I found on Twitter, some Sculpt by Marco Plouf, and a Knight guy from Hugh Tail, I think. The proportions are super cool, so I kind of like that, and then the classic Gundam thing. So we're gonna try to make something influenced by that. Pretty heavy guy, bulky, tough. That's it. Let's get rid of that. We're not in Blender, right? And just before we start this whole sculpt, I'm just gonna run through the tools in Modeler, just so that you guys kind of see an overview of everything, just how it's different from Medium, why I'm switching, why I like it, why I don't like it. We'll go through all this stuff. And I have Twitch chat open up over here in the void, so whenever I'm looking up, I'm looking at Twitch chat. So if you have any questions, just post them there. And yeah. So pretty similar to Medium. Sorry. You got all your stamps and all your brushes. You can import your stamps just like we did in Medium. Brush kit, all that stuff. But what's cool with Modeler is that you can resize the brushes. They're not fixed to just a square, so there's some pretty cool stuff you can do. For this, you deform them non-uniformly. It's pretty nice. You got the lazy mouse, which I have on right now, like the setting for smoothing the brush, because if I don't, it's pretty wonky, so I always have that turned on so I can make smooth brush strokes. Different size, different shapes, all that good stuff. I mostly keep to this blocky one with a little roundness to it, but you can adjust the fillet, make it rounder, chamfer. Chamfer's pretty cool on this one. Like bolts, stuff like that. There's a little bug right now. I'm using like a beta version of Modeler, but there's a little bug where I switch my brush and I swap the size. It just puts a fillet on it. So I might just go back and try to delete that like a bunch of time. What headset do you use? Of course. Right now on the Quest 3, I've had pretty much every headset that came out. But I mean the Oculus ones, of course, not the Vive or Index or all that stuff. Always use the Meta ones just because that's what's working best with the sculpting apps, Modeler and Medium. And yep, the warp tool works the same as in Medium. You just pull on stuff and it warps it. And you have the square one, which stretches. Or you have the elastic one that kind of makes nice organic shapes. That I use. Smooth tool is kind of built in the clay tool. So if you want to smooth stuff, strength, turn off pressure. Yeah, you can smooth stuff. That works the same as in medium. And there's a couple tools, like the crease tool and the flatten tool. I don't use that much. Maybe it's good for more organic sculpting. It's kind of like a ZBrush dam standard brush. Can kind of carve into stuff. I'm not a huge fan of it, just because it kind of works better with like organic shapes. I do mostly hard surface, or it depends on like the resolution of your layer. So if your layer is super high res, you get like sharper creases. Yeah, it's all right. I'd rather just take this and then carve a thing, you know. Works the same way. I don't have to switch tools. I can just keep the same tool. Yeah. Did modeler add an option for the brush to rotate with stroke direction? I guess, yeah. I think the lazy setting works like that. Like the steady one, it always keeps the rotation of your brush, right? The lazy one, it will move with your cursor. So yes, but I like the steady one just because of the kind of shape that I make. They're very angular, so. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's other tools, but we'll go into those whenever we need them. We got the color and all that good stuff over here, materials, environments, but we won't touch that for now. So yeah, get started. I'm just gonna block in the overall shape. I usually start with the torso. I'm just gonna make a new layer. We'll start establishing our main proportions. Whenever I need more resolution, because I found that the shapes are too soft, I just upres those like this, plus, minus. Do you like the scoping system? At first, it was really confusing, but now that I've been using it for a while, I kind of like it. It works well. For those who don't know, scoping is they got rid of the like outline system. Like in medium, you had a big outliner here, and then you would see all your layers. You can still see them, but basically how it works is, let's say I have one layer like this, and I have another layer like this, and I'll make a third layer. I'll grab this one, I'll put it into this one. So we got a group of these two layers, and then a group that's just this layer. And with this button and this button, I scope in to this layer, so I can draw into this one, and I scope into this one, so I can draw into this one. And if I have a group and I want to work into that group, I need to scope into that group and then be into that layer. It's a little bit confusing, but at some point you get used to it, and it's kind of cool because you can have, let's say, symmetry that works on this axis, and then symmetry that works on this axis. So like each layer has their own symmetry plane, right? In medium, you couldn't do that. It was always from the middle. And then wherever I move this, the symmetry is still local to that layer, which is pretty cool. And you can do some really nice stuff with like pairing or grouping. The instancing stuff is pretty nice. So you kind of need that scoping thing to go in and out of your outliner. And like the more layers you make, the more complicated your graph gets. So the scoping kind of gets rid of that visual complexity. You're just, it's more of a feeling, I guess. It's kind of hard to explain, but you have to play with it. At first, it's super confusing, and I had to force myself to get used to it. I would work for, I don't know, 2 hours, and then I'd put the software down and be like, this is trash, I'm never touching it again. And then I would go back to medium. And then a month later, I'd come back and be like, okay, I'm gonna force myself to do it now. But now I like it. Just a different way of working. And all in all, I think Modeler's faster. Just in the way you can like select all your layers with just one click. Like I press my select button, and instead of having to click everything, I can just hold it and then select everything. It's super fast. And like you can duplicate stuff like this, and you can select all of those in one go and then delete them, you know, do all kind of cool stuff. So it is faster. One thing that they did add that's pretty cool also is the difference between mirror symmetry and then mirror repetition. And like in the symmetry mode, your layer is tied to the middle like this, so it's only gonna move symmetrically, right? As of this one, it's symmetrical but also independent from the middle, so you can move it around but still retain that symmetry. So there's like a difference in between the two. And you can also do both at once. So if you have like a arm, let's say, that's a symmetrical piece, and I turn it off just to place it right here, turn it back on, and I do mirror repetition. Now it is symmetrical but also mirrored, if that makes sense. So that's pretty cool. Some big thighs. We'll play around with proportions. Trying to talk and design at the same time is kind of complicated, so I'll try my best to make something cool. It's always what happens with these streams. Or whenever I record, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna record something super cool, and then as soon as I press the record button, my sculpt is terrible, so I turn it off, and then I sculpt without the recording, and then people are like, oh, can I see the process? I was like, well, didn't record that one because I was anxious that I was gonna make something terrible. So this, I'll place it right here, and boom. Cool. Yeah. Mirrored repetition is so cool. Yeah, I really like the flipping and then having, you know, some pieces that are symmetrical by themselves. Like it's a great addition. Like it makes things way faster. And also, like, let's say this piece. Go back. Okay, now it's still in the middle. I'll just move it here for now. And what I'll do is I'll make a linked instance. So now it's an instance. I can put it here and then flip it and then do whatever you want. But this piece is still in the middle. And I can keep working on that one isolated, but the changes are going to be made on the other one. So that's pretty cool. And then if I work on this one, the magic of instances. There, that's there too. So that's super cool. You could design like a whole leg and then pose it. And then you could design your whole mech and then pose it on the side and then just design it on the T-pose and have your posed character, you know, reflect. Any like precision control for moving stuff along axes? Yes. There's a gizmo and you can do that stuff. And it's pretty fast to switch between the gizmo and the free move. Like there's a button right here, toggle gizmo. on off. So if you want to do like a, I don't know, something very repetition, global, like this, and I can drag it and then make a bunch of repetitions. How I'm doing this, I'm clicking this button and then this button to drag it to make a copy. And then whenever I'm copying, I have my left thumbstick and I go left or right to add more instances. Well, I'm more repetitions. And you can do like in between, right? Or you can do extended from the first one. So it's pretty useful. And you can also do it with you know, curves. That's really cool. So like if you want to make a spine, let's say for that guy. Boom, super fast. And of course you can make instances out of those as well. And then like this. You can get super complex geometry really fast. That's cool. There's one little glitch though that I don't know how's it not working, but if I make a layer, right? Like this. And as soon as I clicked, like right now it's symmetrical, so it's tied to the middle. So I can do stuff like this, right? But as soon as I make it an instance, like this, make link, now it's not tied to the middle. So if I wanna make a spine, I have to like angle it just right and place it in the middle, so it kind of looks like it's in the middle, but it's not like super precise. You have to be precise, but like if I'm off, let's say, I'm exaggerated, but it's off, right? It's not tied, and it's still, this layer is still symmetrical. Like, is this symmetrical? Like, I can't turn the symmetry on this. I can only turn the symmetry on this, which I don't know. Yeah, thank threads. It'd be super useful to do that. Have like a thread like this. Hello. Yeah, and also Modeler is great at handling a ton of geometry with like no problem at all. It's super fast, and even if you have a million layers, which was my biggest gripe with Modeler, is that you only had 150 layers, and then you make a whole crazy ass mech, and you need to merge stuff and like manage your geometry because you didn't have enough layers. And now you don't have to worry about that anymore. You can just make crazy things, and then you make your whole mech, and then you can just duplicate it and start posing it. Well, that's pretty neat. Free move repetition, yeah. Like if you make anything that's repeating in Medium, it was kind of a pain to do, but in Modeler it's great. There's some stuff that I do like better in Modeler, in Medium, sorry. And it's low quality of life stuff, like the angle snapping. The angle snapping in Modeler, it's only 45 degrees, right? So it is useful, but then all your stuff ends up looking very blocky. In Medium, you had a little slider, and you could slide it all the way to like, I don't know, 1 degree, 10 degrees. So you could get like very precise cuts, but that weren't 45 degrees. And now maybe it's better that way because it forces me to be more precise and then not rely as much on the angle snapping. But especially for guns, it used to be really useful to have the snapping at like 15 degrees. I really like that. One thing also that I was missing was the color picker shortcut, but they're gonna add that very soon. So like whenever I wanted to color pick something, you have to click on the button and then click on the thing. And every time it's very tedious to click on everything, but in the beta they added this. So hopefully it's coming in the like very stable version soon. Yeah. Also, the one thing that was super cool in Medium was the emissive. So I don't know if you guys remember in other videos that I did. Whenever I put lights at the end of the sculpt, it would make it super shiny. The emissive in Mulder are not great. Just a little bit glowy. You seem to be resizing your stamp on the fly. Yes. It's with the shapes, like the default shapes. I do have my stamps here, just in case, but I've been using these two basically, the cylinder and the cuboid, because I can get pretty much any shape I want. So it's this button right here, the B button, I guess, and you can scale it. So that one brush replaces a bunch of stamps that I had. So like this one was something with a chamfer, something was with a fillet, and then a mix of both, right? Like round and chamfer. And also I had one that was like a flat plane, or like a tiny, you know, like it in Medium I had to have all of these different brushes, but in Modeler I can do all the same with just this one. Like I can have something really thin, I can have like a ground plane, right? Or I can have you know, something round like this, something round with a chamfer, or just a chamfer, or just a fillet. Like it replaces a bunch of different shapes with just this one, and it's, I don't have to swap, I don't have to click. I don't like clicking on stuff. I like just making the thing, and the more I have to click, the more not frustrated, but the more energy I lose, because I have to go in the menu and then click on stuff. So if I can have one brush that just does everything, even if I have to like open the menu and then turn this off, it's like, oh, maybe sometimes you need a really long thin piece, right? And you can use it to draw too. It's not just like a stamp, right? Yeah, you need something like this, or you know. It's cool to be able to resize it and then fit whatever need you have. Alright. Is it easy to reset the brushes and get back to a nice sphere? Yeah. If you have your brush, let's say it's off, it's not a cube anymore, you just have to double click on this and now it's back to a cube. Especially with the cylinder, like it's always getting wonked. And then if you want to size it and then you try to eyeball it so that it's like a circle, like a cylinder, there's a modifier for that, and it's now, right now it's broken a little bit, but you press the resize button and then you start scaling, and then you hit the offhand modifier, and then it will be constrained, so you can scale it like this, and it still stays a circle. So you can make like a long long tube. But right now it's glitched, so it makes a like it changes the fillet value. So I don't know why it does that. But yeah, the modeler team are pretty responsive. They're adding more updates very frequently, and so they're aware of the issue. So hopefully it gets fixed soon. There's another thing with Medium. The team didn't have a ton of budget, I guess, and the updates were pretty sparse. But with Modeler, they're pretty consistent with their updates. Pro tips, yes. But yeah, I'm glad I can share some of this workflow with you guys, because I've been in my little cave, just working away at stuff, and like not making any tutorials or anything, but just be able to stream. It's pretty fun. It's a bit less official, or I don't know, stressful. I can just make something cool, hopefully, and I don't have to do like a ton of prep or editing. Just making a arm for this guy. And one thing we can do is, it doesn't need to be just one object, right? We can add more layers to this and start working in more complex shapes like this, and we can group them together. Put that over here and instance it, and then bring over here and flip it, and now we have two layers. So maybe I'll go with a different color. See? And with the scoping, it's easy to like select this part, but like, oh, now I want to work into that group, right? And then I just work into this. Oh, now I want to work onto that layer. But whenever you start introducing color, that's why you need the color picker. Like having to click on everything and then swapping the color, it's such a pain. I think there's a way around that if you work with materials. And let's see if we can make something happen. But the color and the materials are different. That's a default material 1, material 2. Right? I can assign this material, and I can assign this material. It should be the same. And now whenever I work on this, even if my brush is that color, it should be that material, which I guess is a smarter way to work. Like I should do that. I'm not doing it. Maybe with the export too, it's better. But it's like I have to do more planning, and especially in those first phases, I don't like to do a ton of planning because it takes away from the flow, right? I want to get my idea down as fast as I can and just make something cool, right? So usually keep one color and then start assigning color. But still, an eyedropper and flood hotkey for material. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Like, I don't like the not the prep, but like thinking too much. I just want to grab stuff and throw it around, you know. So for now, we'll just keep those materials, and we'll see later on what we do. And also, it's easier for me to like just pick a color and then go, oh, this and then that color, rather than go into material and then click on the menu and then edit the properties and then the base color and be like, this color and then the roughness, and then like for some people it work, but not for me. I don't know. So yeah. We tried VR modeling like Gravity Sketch or Shape Labs. Yes, I have. and I always go back to the voxel ones. They're cool. Gravity is nice because, especially for like cars and stuff, you can make really precise curves, and then you can start tweaking those points and then moving them around, and it's very like precise. You're like, oh, I'm gonna move this point over here and make a cool, sick curve. But in Shape Labs too, it's like ZBrush, so it's surface based. So you're gonna sculpt a thing, and then you're gonna be like, oh, I have my crease tool, or you know, my build up tool, and I'm gonna start sculpting into this thing. And pressure, yeah, okay. Like, oh, I make a cool crack, and then I start sculpting in that crack. And for me, it's not clicking. Like, I like voxels because it's like clay. It's fast. I can carve away at shit, and it's janky, and it has this kind of tactile feeling that I like, where I can stretch it and pull it, and I don't have to worry about the resolution of stuff too much, or like the technicality. It's very free, and you can sketch stuff like you can almost draw like a you know, like an artist. You can do like, oh, a cool action pose. The guy and just draw things. That's bad. You know, don't take this as a good example, but you know, it's fast, and I don't have to bother about the technicalities. Like, I can, you know, get really loose and then start sketching stuff to explore my shapes really quickly. Be like, okay, well, boom, there you go. One guy, he's bad, so I'm just gonna get rid of him, and then I can start another guy. Okay, well, maybe different legs, right? Different stance, different proportions. Maybe he has arms. Oh no, that's bad. Okay, well, I'll start a new one. So it's a lot faster than having to bother with like little points or surface, or you know, the 3D technical side of it. Right? So yeah. Didn't I do a foot? I lost a foot. We'll see back in the video where it went. I'll do another one. That's what happens when I start rambling. Just lose parts. Take this guy up here. Boom. I'm gonna establish our stance, make sure he's standing on something. I like to do that very early in the process, because if not, it feels floaty. The foot became the tank tread. Ah, okay, well, no more tank tread. Thanks for noticing that. Let's start assigning color too. Boom, red. Boom, red. There you go. And then maybe this you work on the side. And another cool little tool is the split tool, which they had in medium, but it was like resembled like a slicing thing, right? You draw a line, it would slice stuff. As a split tool, you can literally use a brush and use a shape, and then start splitting it. Right? Now it's a different part. And we didn't instance that, so it didn't work. So instance, move it here, and then start splitting. But I don't know why the erase tool and the clay tool have a steady, but the split tool doesn't have one. Who knows? So maybe this chunk, and then we'll go with the gray, and then this chamfer it, and start placing our gray parts. Oh, one thing I also really like is you can erase on multiple layers, right? So you have these two layers. I can change my erase tool, and then I can erase both of these at once. That's pretty cool. In Medium, you had to pick one layer, erasing it, pick another layer, erasing it. And you can do that with like 100 layers too. Right? Select all of these and then erase all of them at once. That's crazy powerful. And let's go back here. Another little issue I have with this stuff is like if I have my brush that's gray and I have a layer that's red and I erase, it erases with gray. Like it should erase with no color. I don't know. The split tool is so much easier than their booleans. Yes. But they also have crazy booleans, which are kind of nice too. So if I go back, now make a thing, and actually let's use it for something that's useful. Let's say I want to pop out a section on this. I can make a new layer, and then start drawing my thing kind of like a mask, right? And I have my booleans here, and you can have live booleans, so you can see the preview of the boolean live. That's pretty cool. But let's say intersect. That's the section that's gonna give me. Turn this off, and I can boolean this piece. I just select the piece I want to boolean with, apply it, and now I have this, right? So if I duplicate this and then boolean it, the piece, and then but what's really cool is that you can boolean with multiple layers at once. So let's say I have this again, and I'll make, I don't know, this. I can boolean a bunch of layers at once, or only certain ones, right? It's not booleaning this one. So that's pretty cool. You can do like the union and all that stuff, but with only the layers you select. Okay. So only these two layers are getting booleaned, not these two. So yeah, their booleans are still very, very powerful. But same thing as all of the little, clicking on stuff, it slows you down. It's good when you want to be precise afterwards, like once you have a good base, I guess, good idea of what you're doing. But for the first, I don't know, hour or so, I like to just sketch really fast and just make crazy shapes. Let's go with this guy and split it again. Just add another color. Split that all. This interior. Making arbitrary decisions on what I'm splitting. I just want like I just want another layer I can play with, basically. So this, and yeah, just talking to you guys, it makes me realize certain things. And the next sculpt I'm gonna do for work or for personal stuff, I'm gonna try to use the materials more, just to see how it works. If I can introduce, you know, more complexity and make the workflow just, you know, faster, more efficient. I won't call him the chef for nothing. Who calls me the chef, bro? Okay, cool. Got this piece now, see? Instances, so sick. And then we make this one just to be able to sculpt on the thing. Okay, very cool. It's clipping a little bit, but we don't care about that right now. The same workflow that I used in Medium too, it works. So like you can just take this piece and duplicate it, scale it up a little bit, assign a color, boom. Now you have your whole shell situation. You know, carve away at it. It kind of looks like it has something underneath it. See? That's cool. For any game projects, do you retopo this with something like Dynamesh? No. Well, not for me. For work, yes, for sure. But somebody else does it. So I'm a concept artist. I just make the concept, and then somebody gets the joy to retopo all of this. But I've done it with like auto retopo things. But again, like everything that gets complex and just slows me down, I don't have a ton of patience for, so I just don't do it. So I became a concept artist. But yeah, you definitely can, and it's also easier for the 3D artist. He has a model, right? He doesn't have to watch your drawing and be like, okay, what does this like look like in different angles, right? He has a model. That's already much faster. Let's try to do a hand and like this. I've been watching videos from Chaos Masons. This guy over here, Marco, and Cedric. They have a company called Chaos Masons, and they have a lot of really good tutorials for ZBrush. They're like crazy good with ZBrush, and their hands are so cool, man. Every time they have hands, the pose, like it's so sick. So I've tried to figure out how they do it, and I think they have like a brush pack of hands that they use for placement, and then their placement of the fingers. It has such a cool stance, like very aggressive finger placement. I should have brought in a ref for that with them. Actually, I'm gonna make all the sections. Let's figure out a cool pose for the hands. Something that looks kind of mean. I'll just make a shape with my hand. I'm looking at my own hand. Maybe your finger needs to be like a bit thicker. Okay, I mean, placement for now, we're just gonna go with that, and later on we'll refine it more. So group, this whole hand is now one thing. I can place it wherever I want, and flip it. Boom. Easy hands. It's getting to a point where it's easier for me to think about how I make a hand like in 3D rather than draw it. Like, I know drawing hands is very hard, but like if I think about it in terms of segments and pieces, like it just makes more sense. Like I can understand how the mech parts move. Like in my head it's a toy. It's like, oh, I'm moving a figurine of joints and stuff, so I can. Masami Obari hands. I don't know who that is. I'll look it up real quick. Bear with me. Obari. Oh, yes. He has very cool anime hands. I know the work, I just don't know the names. I'm not very good with names. Okay, let's carve out something here. Let's add something in the middle. I'm just gonna start filling in pieces. I feel like I've been rambling so much that we don't make any progress with this guy. So, head. So when you visualize your mechs, always in segments. Yeah, I mean, it's like in anatomy or like Gundam making. It's all different parts and they all click together. Whenever I do a mech, or even if I do a creature like I don't know, a dragon or whatever, I'm like, okay, well, the head is attached to the neck, which is attached to, you know, the torso, which is attached to the pelvis, which is attached to the legs, so everything kind of fits together. And I don't know, it just makes more sense for me in my head. To break down things so you don't have to think about the whole thing. Like, it's less taxing on the brain to think about it that way. Very blocky guy. The pose is alright, I guess. Whenever I'm designing, also, I'm trying to see it from all the angles at once. And right now, I think he's falling a little bit forward. Maybe he needs to sit back just a little bit more, so that he's more stable. Yeah, that kind of works. Smooth the corners. And we're gonna fill in the, you know, we're gonna fill in the gaps later on for the connections, but right now it's okay. And I want to try a cool, like, knight head. So let's try something else. Just gonna put this head right here for now. If it doesn't work, we'll go back. No problem. But I want to try like a long cylindrical looking head. Like these knights that have this type of vibe. It's a bit mushy, we're gonna give it a bit more resolution. And just like a bit of dome. That's funny. Like a smaller head. Recess it into the shoulders. So that it's nice and protected, you know, as a collar that blocks whatever is coming towards him and protects the head. Are humanoids mech easier to make than animals? Not really. Like if you break it down, it's the same. It's just a different style of legs, right? And it's like you have a normal looking human leg with the I don't know the names. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know the names, but like the calf and then the thigh muscle, and then you know the foot. That's one type of leg, and then you have, you know, animal legs, which is the same parts, it's just different proportions. Like that's the foot and that's the toes. Like on the human, this part right here, and then the toes is this part right here. So it's like a long, like a long foot with small toes, and then this is the thigh, and then this is the calf. And then on the spider, I mean, there's 3 segments on the leg, I guess, still. But if you break it down in sections, and that's not a spider, it's like an insect because there's 6, but you get the idea. It's still the same thing. You have to get your segments and then place them so that it looks like a solid stance. And it's easier in VR because you can play with it and move stuff around and, you know, place it. But it's pretty much the same. You just pull up a picture of a spider, you look at the leg, you're like, okay, well, there's 3 segments, there's 8 legs, and then you just place them and be like, okay, well, what if it looked like this? And what if it stood like this? It goes down, it goes up, it goes down. Like, okay, that's a cool stance, right? That's what I've been doing with this guy. It's like I'm placing the leg and I'll be like, okay, does he feel like he's heavy? Does he feel like he has weight, right? Maybe he has, you know, kind of a hunch. He's hunched forward. It's more aggressive, right? And whenever I design the guy at first, I try to give it just some stance so that he's not super stiff, so that it still kind of looks cool, but after I'm done with it, I can still pose it and make like a super dynamic looking pose. So let's go back to our head. Just gonna work over here for now. It's not an instance, but if I need to, I'll just bring it over afterwards. Talking and designing at the same time is very hard. You have to have to focus. I don't want the stream to be just silent the whole time. I'll keep that for my YouTube videos. I'll speed it up ×5 so that it looks cooler, you know. That's cool. Do we introduce a second color? Pick the red. Boom. I'll try different types of things. Does it have like a hole over here? You can see eyes better. That's kind of cool. Make a new part. The more parts you have on your sculpt, like the more flexible you are. That's why I enjoy not having 150 layers. I don't have to be like, oh, maybe I'll save some geometry for this or that. I can just be removing stuff and, you know, not thinking about it too much. Move more to red here. Give it some kind of brow thing. I don't want to detail it too much because now I have to detail all the rest, so I'm gonna keep it at this level for now. And let's get rid of this. Place it here. That's kind of cool. Looks mean. That's cool. Okay. Now, do we go even bigger with the shoulders? Like, some of these guys have huge shoulders, and it was pretty fun. So, maybe we do that. Maybe we take this, remove the symmetry, and delete all this. Do something like this. Make the piece kind of symmetrical. Merge, merge. Now they should be symmetrical. Okay. And we'll add another color for like the internal stuff. Like the joints that connect to the body, and then the joints that connect to the arm. And let's go back to this color, the shape. Up the resolution a little bit. Let's move that over here. Actually, let's move that like this. Grab this. Make link. Boom. Place it here. Like this. And group those. Boom. Now, how big do we get? Do we get like ridiculously big? Or do we keep it normal-ish looking? But then oh, I moved it. Fuck. Go back. Go back. Abort. Group. Link. duplicate, place it here, move that, flip it. Alright. Now, let's just start messing around with it. Like a huge shield type thing. Is that cool? Turn on the symmetry. That's cool. Why do you think VR hasn't gained more ground as a concept art tool? Well, that's a really good question. I've tried to introduce it to more of my friends and more people that I work with, but most of them, they're like, I don't like having something on my face all the time. Or, oh, I like using these tools, like I'm used to drawing, and I like Blender. It's, I don't know, maybe they're comfortable with the tools they use. Maybe it doesn't fit their workflow too. Like, it's not for everybody. I personally think it's a fantastic tool, and I can't use anything else than that. Grumpy, I see your question. But yeah, I really like the way it's working. Like, it's very, artistic and flowy. Like, you can sketch stuff and it's fast. But for some people, the motion sickness, maybe they're really used to ZBrush and they're like, oh, that doesn't work like ZBrush. So for me, it's it's bad. I don't like it. But I don't know, man. It's a really good question. I'm asking myself that question all the time, and I wish more people would use it, because then more people would make tutorials, and then I could look at these tutorials and learn something that I haven't figured out for myself, because it's kind of a part that I miss about learning art. Is I used to look at a lot of tutorials and be like, oh, this is so cool, I want to do the same thing. But like, now I have to make the tutorials and I have to figure everything out, and I miss the days where stuff was figured out for me. What did you do there? How did you drag that shoulder part and it automatically align the other shoulder part? Well, they're all instances of this part. So like, if I move this, since it's in the group of this part, it's gonna align relative to that, right? But what's cool is it should also have its own symmetry still, so I can move around, and I can, if I make a new layer, it should still have the symmetry of this, so I can add more parts to this as well. That's some crazy shoulders, though. Is it too big? Are we doing too much? Who knows? Who knows? You won't know until you go too far. How far can we get? This is pretty sick, even if it's okay. I'm getting carried away. Medium looks so much better than Modeler. The other way around, yeah. Okay. I mean, they're both great. It looks better, sure. It's paid though. Medium's free, so if you want to just like dabble in VR modeling, I think Medium is still a fantastic option. I still love the program, but I think for work, professional work, I need to go with a tool that's faster. And right now, Modeler's faster. So okay, do we make a big piece like this? Every time I make something like this, I get so many comments that my robots have huge dicks, and personally, I like it. I think it looks cool. But there's always those 3 people on Twitter that are like, "Oh, robot has a penis." Yeah, it does. So what? Big dick robot energy, exactly. I kind of like the huge shoulders. It looks over the top for no reason, and I dig it. Maybe we need something of the same kind of size here. And something in the back. And a big ass, whatever, you know. Now that's fucking tough. Okay, let's make a piece for this red. And I kind of like the shape that's going on here. Like the face, it's kind of a skull-ish looking thing, right? It has like teeth, so maybe we go with like kind of skull motif or like crown motif or shield, you know, like a shield shape. So it ties with like the knight robot vibe we have going on. Looks like a Lego piece, yeah. Sure. Just put like a little round thing on top so it can clip. I'll put it here, and we're gonna instance it. Boom. Oops. Place it here. Flip it. Just want to see kind of the size of the shape that I want. It's too big. The more piece you add, like the more off balance he's gonna get. So if I had something really big, like in the front, I probably need to add something in the back so that it balances, right? Right now, I feel like he's missing weight. This is just a feeling, but I feel like he's missing weight, like here. You know, I could tilt him forward, or I can move the arms that way. I think this piece is so big that it debalances the whole thing. Looking forward to seeing those emissive glows in there. Yeah, I mean, I'll show you. Let's see, like a red, right? And I need to make a new material. And let's just do red. And in here, properties, emissive, red, and emissive. So apply. You know? I think there's a setting in here. Where is it? This. Mission intensity. Like, all right, cool, thanks. Very cool, very emissive, you know. Like they had a cool bloom thing going on in medium, and yeah, okay, it is emissive. I don't know. It doesn't look as cool. Like it just looks like another color. So maybe when we do the yeah, no bloom. When we do the render later on, like you know that this part is emissive, you'll put bloom in your render, like in keyshots or whatever. But for now, you know, it is what it is. Just looking at this. This is alright. We'll go back to our material. This guy. Pick the color. Make a new layer, and then figure out something like this. Or maybe it's mirrored like this instead. Like, what could he have in the back, you know? If we're going with shields, do we want, like, more shields? Or do we want, you know, missile pod thing? Like a big blocky thing? I feel like the vibe with this guy is big blocky, so we should probably have a blocky thing. Not too many like thin spear. Shield axe. Give him boobies, bro. Like just huge pecs like this. No, he has a small chest, man. He has a small chest and giant shoulders. Because he has body dysmorphia and he doesn't know what to work on at the gym. He's like, wants the biggest shoulders ever. Two of the same shields from the shoulders on the back. Let's try it. This guy, I'm gonna copy it here and I'm gonna do some scoping magic. I'm gonna grab this, I'm gonna scope out. So now it's not part of this. I'm gonna scope out, and now it's just its own little thing. And we're gonna group it. And I'm gonna move it here. And what about... let's try this. That's crazy, dude. Maybe like the floaty ones, like in Gundam, you know, there's one guy with like floating, it's like drones. I don't know the names, but he has like long things like this, and he has like a bunch of them around him. That's crazy, guys. You guys are crazy. Just one big one. Wings. That's what's cool with this whole workflow, is you can try stuff so fast. Like, imagine I had to draw all this. That'd be a pain. I can just, you know, drag stuff around, move it, see if it works. But I think so far I like the big, like, blocky whatever the most. So we're gonna try something. Just like a big blocky thing. Maybe it's attached to the shoulders. Is it going to transform into a truck? I mean, I definitely need to do more like transforming stuff, but it could work, right? Just have to figure out what's what, you know. But yeah, that's a good idea. Like next time I do a piece like this, I'm gonna try to think about the transformation. Like on stream, it's a bit of it's a bit tricky to get super complex with the design. Like I have to model something that I'm comfortable with because everybody's watching and there's so much pressure. And I have to talk too. I'm not used to talking. But whenever I do a personal piece, maybe I'll do like a crazy transforming thing. I've seen some on Twitter this week. There's a guy, I forgot his name. I'm sorry. He had some really cool transforming animation on his ArtStation and on Twitter. Let's try Gage's idea of like a shield axe, just for fun. Gage usually has good ideas for like cool looking things. Get rid of this. Make it round. Hold it. Just duplicate it so it's longer, merge it. And again, we're gonna keep it sketchy just for now. But if it looks cool, make it happen. Hey, what's up, Maloy? How you doing, man? Like an Elden Ring looking Godric, the grafted crazy axe, you know? That's crazy. Upside down, maybe. Actually, this might be cool. Yeah, thank you, Gage. Well, you got my SIM card verified. It looks like it was meant to fit there. Yeah, well, like you design a piece that looks like it should, it should go there. This, and then just for fun, you give him like a second one. That's cool. Is that an, you know, it's a flipped thing, so I'm gonna duplicate this, flip it, and we're gonna move his fingers so that he's kind of like gripping it. I guess with the poles, needs to like have more of the more rooms because his fucking knee pads are too big, bro. So let's bring this up a bit more. Get more room on the floor. That's sick. Just make a cylinder, draw a rectangle shape around it, and boom. Yeah, I mean, I'm just drawing, man. Like it's drawing, but with a cuboid, you know. I'm just making shapes that kind of look like a cool thing. It's like, oh, there you go. But I'm getting distracted. We were making knee pads, and then we got off on a tangent. We made all this shit. So let's go back here. No, let's keep that away. Actually. Flip. Okay, knee pads. Knee pads. Don't get me distracted, please. I need to focus. This is very important. I'm gonna thin them a little bit. Thick. And let's pick this color. You said just do better? No, that's not what I said. I said I don't know how to explain how to do it. You just have to do it. I need to break it down at some point. Like I need to make a tutorial. I need to sit and like write my thoughts on paper and be like, okay, this is how you do that. But on a stream like this, on a casual Sunday with the boys, I'm trying to not to explain too much deep lore, you know. And what's this guy's name? I don't know, man. You guys have good ideas for names? I'm really bad with names. I'm good with images. That's why I'm not a writer, you know. I can make a cool robot, but you know, the name, I'll leave that up to you guys. Let's add another color in there. This is instance, right? Is it? Yes. Okay. Let's go in there. Split. And we're gonna split the back of it just like this. Gray. And this red. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I should play with the materials and be like, assign stuff properly so you don't have to worry about that, but I don't know, man. Next time. Does that work? Yeah, okay. This attaches to the knee, and then this will make a hole. More geometry. I'm trying not to detail it too much. We're gonna detail like in passes, because like if the knee is super detailed and then the rest is wonky, it's kind of looks out of place. But this go back to our gray. Cool. It also attaches to the thing. Crazy. Yep. Just clipped on, dude. Like it was meant to be there. Okay, very cool. Try not to detail too much. Tell that to a forklift. Yeah, well, just wait until you see the other guy I was working on. Like, forklift was made in medium, where I had limits, 150 layers. And now in Modeler, I have no limits, so... I don't know if you wanna, you know, do the retopo for that guy, but you're gonna have a blast, because there's so many fucking layers. Sure, let's just block this off. Okay. Yeah, I'm unstoppable now. Like I don't have layer limitations. Does it export like super slow with that many layers? Actually, no. It's about the same. It's about the same. Like the decimation tool in Modeler is actually pretty good. Makes a really good job at crunching down your uh, all of your geometry into something that's actually manageable. Like this guy, I don't know the export. It's another setting, but I can export at all the resolution. But the last guy I've been working on, I posted a few little clips, like the preview clip for the stream, the little video I edited yesterday. Was of that guy, and he's not even done, and he has 250 million polys so far. So this guy maybe right now he's at 50 million polys. So it's about like 5 times as many polygons. So yeah. And what's crazy is that the scene is not lagging, it's super fast. And I'm streaming too. Like I'm streaming, sculpting, and it's super smooth. So I think the whole architecture redesign they did with the sculpting thing, like that's what it allows. It allows the sculpt to be, the scene to be super fast to just handle an insane amount of geometry. No problem at all. Like it's still in development, so sometimes there's some bugs that happen where the scene starts to get super slow. But I think it's because of some type of like memory leak maybe or something. I don't know. This layer, where's my symmetry? Okay. So yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with this program. Like right now it's still in version 1.17, something like that. I'm not sure. 1.13. But it's still version 1.0. Like they still have a beta going on, like a free public beta. But once it gets super polished, like at the level where medium was, it's gonna be crazy. Like if you have a little bloom for this stuff, it's gonna be sick. Okay, pretty good base. Maybe this we need to detail a bit more. Shoulders. We've been going for an hour and a half. That's not too bad. Actually made something cool in an hour and a half. It's still pretty sketchy, but I like where this is going. Just real fast, like, just try something. I really like the proportions of this guy. I don't know what, maybe the giant shoulders and like the tiny legs, but let's try to match the proportion just for fun. See if it works. If it doesn't work, no problem. Go back. But let's copy this whole guy over here. Just for fun. Also, I'm gonna save, you know? It's important to save your scenes. I'm gonna unlink everything, so if I make modifications, it's not gonna get modified here. That Mech kneecap would drop your Blender FPS? Yep, absolutely. Okay, so let's look at this guy. Remove this. Just move this here for now. He has a pretty big torso. Like this. He has a tiny waist. Kind of like this. Maybe it's too big. Then he has some stupid big shoulders. And then, what's going on here? Group. Oh, I see. There's symmetry on this layer and there's repetition on this layer, so I'm just gonna remove all this. Boom. This group. Flip. Okay. This. He has long, like thin. This. Also, what's cool in Modeler, you can pull 2 layers at once, right? Or more than 2. In Medium, you have to do 1 at a time. That's pretty neat. So thin like this, and then like a big bulky hand. Okay. Just a little bit smaller. This. Cool. It's pretty big hands. Going bigger at the shoulders. And then tiny, thin legs. What's this part over here? Low. Okay. We'll go even thinner, I guess. And for this, pretty thin. And then like long pointy feet. Like this. Too big. Smaller. Okay, now get rid of this. Oh, actually no. Just move it on the side for now. And then the head. Gonna group the head together, and I know this guy's like pointy, but we'll just do like the same size. And now he has a dumb looking pose, so we're gonna try to pose him better. Should I start with the feet to make sure that he's touching the floor? He had like a midsection. We don't have a midsection. That's fine. Pretty funny. I mean, it would work. Not sure if I like it better than the one we did, but at least we tried. You know, if you're doing concept and you want to explore different, you know, proportions, just show that to your art director and be like, look, I tried 2 variations, you know, the same guy. Let's pull this back. Maybe it's on top of his, like, thigh, like this. And then this guy has, like, long, flowy things at the back. That could be cool. Let's try. cloth looking thing. Yeah, not bad. I mean, it's not exactly the same. It's way more rounded. Our shape language is very blocky, so often works as well. I still kind of like this guy better. But this is more like generic mecha looking, you know? It's closer to the ref we had, like these two guys. Which I kind of like the stance of this guy. It's just so fucking blocky. This guy's more exaggerated, like the joints are thinner, you know, even if it's super blocky, it doesn't make as much sense physically, I guess. This guy feels chunkier, I don't know. But to try. And we have doubled the amount of geometry and it's still blazing fast, so that's cool. So yeah, good try, but no thanks. Let's keep going this guy. Still feel like this design is so fucking cool though. Like the proportions are so nice. Maybe it's because he's wonky, like the shapes are more organic and like dinged up. It's more of like a, you know, bruised weather combat, you know. I don't know. So use symmetry for the object that you want to stay in the center and mirror for the object that you can freely move them around. Yeah, basically. It deleted it. I mean, it's there, man. Like I can keep it and just hide it just for you. So that's, it's not gone. It's still there in our memories, you know. But we'll keep on with that guy. But yeah, I guess it's just about thinking of like where you need symmetry and then where you place it. And they did add something in the beta that was pretty cool recently, and it is symmetry, but now you can decide where the symmetry is, right? You can change the axis of the symmetry of your thing. So for the radial thing is really useful. One thing that was not in medium is radial symmetry. So I say this, and then repetition like this. Right? And then you can make, I don't know, man. You can make anything you want. You know? Like a missile or, you know, radial symmetry. And then this, and you're like, oh, I want more of those. There you go. Crazy. So radial symmetry is pretty cool, but also radial symmetry that way, and then you can swap the angle of the symmetry, right? And make like a wheel or a vent or like a reactor. It's super useful. Like for wheels, it's great. I'm using it a lot, and also it is radial symmetry, but that piece is still symmetrical, right? It's nuts. Whoa. It is very powerful, yeah. Yeah, can make a glaive, dude. Exactly. But, like, you get all these tools, and there's so much things you can do, but it doesn't make your design better. Like, you have... I've been using one brush, basically, this whole time, or two. And it's just that one. It's just a block, and I've been sketching stuff with just a blocky thing. and you can make all these cool, you know, build up and inflate and whatever. But if you don't know what you're doing, you're just gonna make nonsense, right? You kind of have to think about what you're making, right? Let's add a bit more resolution here. And let's try to have all of our pieces have the two colors, right? The gray and the red for every part. So like the gray is the internal attaching mechanical looking part, and then the red is the armor protecting looking part, right? So of this, we're gonna use our good old split guy, and we're gonna split it over here just to have another color. And then this bug, it kind of bothers me, like the fillet removes the fillet. Chopping away at it. Add a bit more like not negative space, but holes. Like we keep adding, but sometimes you need to subtract as well. And then we go back to this guy. Make sure it's like attached to the main piece, right? It feels like it just makes the sculpting process smoother, faster, easier compared to medium. Yeah, for sure. You don't get bogged down by like limitations of the software, like, oh, I need this type of layer, I need, you know, this type of resolution, or like, how do I make this shape? It's like, I don't know, man. Like any shape you can visualize, you can basically make, and you can kind of sketch it at first to indicate that's the shape you want to make, and then whenever you have the polish phase, which we don't get that polished in those streams because it just takes a lot of time, you can make it. Like, even if you have like a square brush and you're like, oh, I want a circle, well, you can draw a circle. Like, you have to be precise, and it's not a perfect circle, but it is a round thing, you know? Like, oh, I want to make a cylinder, well, you can sketch it, and it's like, oh, that's kind of a cylinder, right? Is it faster than just use the cylinder brush? Probably not, but I like the sketchiness that you get. Like, I like the artifact that you get with VR, especially. Like in Medium, it was the same thing. You get that brushstroke looking thing that is in traditional painting, I guess. Let's try something with the feet. Like, does it need more support to be more stable? Or is he... Because you feel like he has little tiny ankles, right? Which is not a bad thing, but maybe it makes him bulkier to have like a support heel type thing. And again, it's just sketched in, it's pretty wonky, but nobody's looking at the feet. Impressionist, yeah, exactly. It's Impressionism, but VR 3D, you know, new age type stuff. Maybe the shoulder needs like another shape here. Let's try. you like this? You like the flat or you like the bump? I think the bump is nice. Adding a little bit more complexity. You can add some like mecha nonsense in there too. With this part right here. I'm trying to also keep my parts together. Like if I want to do some gray on the shoulder, I'm gonna select the gray part of the shoulder. Just so that stuff is organized, you know, for my sake, in my head. But you could select the gray part of the knee and then place it on the shoulder. It's just later on if you want to move the whole shoulder, it's going to move the knee as well. So. Something in there like this. I'm just indicating detail. We're getting a bit more granular with the detail now. Just indicating some type of like complexity. Like here. And let's try something with the front of it. Like, what if he has an even bigger collar? Like super protection, you know. Kind of like that it's slotted in like this, but and then I'm just gonna remove the parts that I don't like. This whole workflow, it's all about editing yourself and adding stuff that you like and removing stuff that you don't like. I know it's kind of weird to say, but like you look at something and you figure out what you don't like. Like, oh, I don't know, this shape I don't like. Like it bothers me for some reason, so I'm gonna edit it so that it doesn't bother me. Like that it looks good. Are recording streaming directly from Modeler, or is it the window? Well, I mean, I'm recording with OBS. This is just the Modeler window, and there's a different mode that I could use for like the camera stuff. It's the steady cam, and it's basically smoother. Like I can do all this stuff, and it's like tracked to my head. But if I move my head, it's slower. The only problem with this mode is if I'm actually sculpting something, right? If I'm doing something here, and let's say I look up a chat, and then I move back my head, and I keep sculpting, you guys don't see what's happening. It's happening all the way over here, but I'm looking at whatever is down here, so I have to like forcibly move my head down. It's very annoying, and then this is like off camera. It's kind of like in practice this would be great, but no, in theory this would be great, but in practice it doesn't work. So hopefully I think the Mulder team are aware of it. They just need to figure it out. But it would work really well for time lapses, because whenever I'm modeling like this and I'm moving my head a lot, I'm looking at stuff, and then I'm moving stuff around and scaling, like it's you know, gets nauseating to look at. So they need to figure it out. Can you do retopology in this software? I mean, you can do automatic retopology, but you cannot do manual retopology. Like, this is a sculpting software more than it is it's a sketching software more than it is a modeling software, if that makes sense. Like, if you want to get super precise clean geometry, this is not the software to do it in. Like, do it in Blender, doing it in something else. But if you want to like explore shapes and like design stuff, this is fantastic for that. And whenever I post some of this stuff online, people are like, yeah, but the geometry is garbage. Like, yeah, but the design is sick, man. You can have fucking clean geometry, but your geometry is super clean, but your design is not good. Well, it doesn't make it look good, you know? I'd rather have something that's wonky and the geometry is fucked, but it looks cool, you know? Like, I'm not a 3D artist. I'm a concept artist, and I want to make the coolest looking stuff, not the cleanest looking stuff. If that makes any sense. But you can definitely take this, import it in your favorite, you know, modeling software, and do all of that retopology later on. Just ask Malloy in chat here that is taking stuff from Medium for Animal and then making clean looking geometry. Yeah, you can do the retopo and whatever you like, man. I heard 3D Cult's really good for that. I was using 3D Cult before switching into VR, and I really liked it. It was a great software because it works the same way as voxels too, but you can do like really nice retopo stuff as well. But yeah, it's just a personal thing. Like I don't like the tedious part of it. Even with drawing, like I don't like rendering because it takes a lot of time and it's tedious. I like making the thing. I don't like not polishing, but I don't know. I don't like the tedious work. If I could just have that straight into Unreal and be like, oh, this is a new game now, like that would be great, man. We need those AI people to figure out AI retopology instead of having them make videos of Will Smith eating spaghetti, you know? Just make my low poly so much easier. Move this here again, and I'm gonna do the same instance thing we're making here. Boom. Replace it, and I'm gonna figure out a nice placement. Was it like kind of like this? Or? Like I want the front to be asymmetrical and the back to be symmetrical. So I'm gonna place it as best as I can. I'm gonna clean it up afterwards. Just bigger in the back. Sorry, I'm mumbling. I'm just trying to talk out loud, so it's not too boring for you guys. Would be great for retopo, but yeah, it's not the fun part. I mean, some people really like it because it's kind of mindless. They can get into a zone and just click their little polys, and like you don't need to think super hard about it. Sometimes that's fun too, right? It's like for me, that part is detailing. No one likes it. I mean, some people like it. I've heard people say they like it, but I'm not judging, man. You can like whatever you want. But yeah, for me, that part is detailing. Like, if I go in and I have all my design figured out. Like the stance is cool, the design is cool, and all I have to do is like place little things like this left and right. Like it's pretty mindless and it's pretty fun. Right? It makes your designs look super sick and complicated, but you know, didn't do anything. But not didn't do anything, but like you don't have to be like, oh, how did this joint click into this thing, and you know. So this part, I'm gonna attach it here, more resolution. And we're still like kind of blocking in stuff, right? You can get really detailed about stuff. Like this is still very janky, and you can upres stuff a lot and get very detail oriented, and then figure out like what did this thing actually look like. Oh, maybe, you know, there's a bolt here and here and here, and it's attached to this thing, and then this thing has a like a fillet. Like you can get super granular with this stuff. Like I'm indicating, oh, maybe this opens up, so it's kind of like let's go back with the symmetry actually. It's, you know, it's like a hinge, right? The hinge there, and then this is hinging right here, and I'm still kind of sketching it in, but if I were to spend a whole week on a thing, I get really into the details and figure everything out. Okay, cool. Flip it. Wait. It's flipping, but not that way, so I'm gonna group it and then flip that group. No, okay. Let's try to hack it. Let's go back, scope. Maybe something in the middle. Take this, flip those. There you go. Get rid of that. Hacked. And then for this, oh, Splazzy, what's up, man? Long time no see. Let's chop this up and have it like a... Actually, maybe I should open like this way. Like shoot whatever it's shooting. It's going well, man. Just trying to make a cool robot on stream. Hope everyone's healthy. Yeah, absolutely, man. Same. I'm trying to exercise more, trying to take better care of myself. And I went on a little vacation to the United States last week, and I ate pretty much only fast food, and I felt terrible. And I came back to Canada. I was like, okay, I need to take my life back into my hands because this is not working out. Yeah, health, very important. But the States was so much fun, man. Like, you guys have crazy food and everything's so good and everything's so fatty and sugary, and I get why everybody has diabetes, because I wanted to eat, you know, crazy Cheetos and Baja Blast the whole time I was there. I didn't visit you, man. No, I'm sorry, man. I was in Philly. I visited Gage and Ducky. We had a blast together. It was super fun. Okay. Oh, you're from Montreal too. Yeah. Yeah, it's very different. Went to shoot guns. That was super fun. Got to try a Glock. I got to try a 1911 pistol. and got to try one of my favorite guns in design is a Vector. That was super cool. And AR-15. And I went to the gun range with my wife, who never shot a gun before, and it was very fun to see her experience that for the first time. It was a bit scary at first. It was very overwhelming. Sounds like Vegas. Yeah, it went hard, but that was super fun. I liked it. We don't really have that type of stuff in Canada. Like, there's just a range you can just go and be like, oh, you try all these fucking guns. It's fun. Okay. Again, a little feeling about this, but I feel like it needs more weight and maybe like this on. He's getting crazy armored. I kind of like it. I kind of like it. That's yeah. How do we approach this like the smartest possible way? Grab this. Also, what the fuck is all of this? Hello? Where's this piece coming from? What is this? Whatever, let's get rid of it. And let's go into this. And add just some more mass. Okay. Oh, are we on the same layer? Yeah, goddamn. Okay. Let's go into this piece and let's split that part right here that I like. Let's try it again. Just this part. Okay, cool. And then this is in the way. Move that. Okay. Chop this off. Clean it up just a little bit. Okay. Okay, so I'll have this be like a latch or something. Oops. Kind of a latch like this. And then this be the thing that's latching. You know? Okay, very cool. And then to make it look like it's latching even more, we'll add something round right here so that it looks like it's doing this, right? And then let's remove little piece pieces. Alright, sick. Okay, so we have a pretty good like detail level all around this area. Shoulders we can leave a bit more plain because it's meant to be armor, I guess, and not there's not a lot of moving parts in the shield, right? The shield is just a one block, but a weapon, maybe it opens up. It needs to have implied implied movement. A shield is just a big blocky thing, so don't need to detail as much. Same for this, like it serves the same purpose, but moving parts like the elbows, the knees, you know, the ankles, it kind of needs a bit more implied complexity. So let's go back in here. And again, I'm just kind of sketching it in. Kind of like a piston here, right? And like it's attached to the wrist, right? Boom, like this. Again, you can get pretty granular with that stuff. You can get pretty in depth with the joint function. And I like to do it when I do studies or like finished pieces. I'll look at not this, but like a real joint, like an arm for a crane or something like that, and I'll try to reproduce it and figure out how it moves properly. So then whenever I do my more fictional pieces, I can imply more. You know? Let's add another piece in there. Just for our gray movable part. Carve so that it looks like it's going in, right? Even this, it shouldn't rotate, you know, it should be aligned with this. Although, you know, you still need to be able to rotate your arm that way, so maybe we give it a bit more clearance and then we add that implied movement like this, right? Let's pick this. So like there's a part that rotates this way. And then this is plugged into this. Right? So when all the mecha nerds look at this, they're gonna be like, okay, rotation, engage, you know? But what we can also do is, you know, cover it up with a protection so we don't have to see it. Right? Is this linked? Yeah. I'm gonna unlink it and I'm gonna chop it a bit more so that's a little bit different. Then place it over a joint. So it's like, yeah, we are protecting the joint. same time, we're kind of hiding it, but that's okay. The knees, okay. So maybe here, add a bit more complexity again. But you know, I'm adding complexity, but realistically, when we look at it, you know, it's the back of the knee. Even if we do a turntable, it's gonna turn, and we're gonna see the back of the knee for like a fraction of a second. Yeah. So we know it's there, but we don't need to be anal about it. If we were to build it for like a real model, yeah, sure. We'll make that proper joint, but for what we're doing, for our purpose, we don't need something crazy. This, I kind of want to remove this here and then add back a little detail, just so it's two-toned. Just take a sip of water. Looks like I've been going for over 2 hours. All right. A bit more on the feet. Add more voxels. I'm just gonna put some joints in there. Kind of looks like it's doing something. But again, I don't want to get super crazy with the details, because the more detail you put on something, the more people are going to look at it. So if I put all my detail here, people are going to look at the face, which is what I want, and not at the feet. So we're going to just kind of keep it sketchy. It's going to be totally fine. Hopefully nobody's going to be mad at us on Twitter for not having good looking feet, you know? Okay. Very cool. Now we can figure out the axe, since it's a important part of our design. Even maybe we have some like cool attachment thing for it, like a latch. Love latches. This, like a clip, opens up. Then, yeah, pull it that way. Pull it this way. And now we can get a bit more precise with our modeling. So I'm gonna turn on the angle snapping. And I'm gonna start blocking in the X. Okay. Bug again. Hello. Boom. Now it should be aligned properly, right? We're gonna model clean-ish. Okay. Start moving things. Start stretching them and cutting them, but still gonna be kind of precise. And then let's block in this this part. And if we want an axe, it kind of needs to be sharp. So, go back, make a new layer. Alright, what's the best way to do this? Do we sketch it in and clean it up, or do we make it clean and then cut it to the sketch? Actually, I think the easiest would be... Oh damn, our first bot in the chat did. Get out of here, bro. Don't want you. Been dealing with so many bots in the Discord lately, and then we're banning so many of them, dude. Just come in and be like, look how much ETH you would have made if you sold all your shitcoins. Bruh, don't tell me about it. I don't want to know. Announcement bots, yeah. That's so sneaky too. They just show up and their name is announcement. Or like admin something. Just trying to figure out like a cool shape for this axe. This is kind of what we had, but it can definitely look better. I still want something that's bulky. Maybe the blade is not super bulky. Yeah. Maybe the blade is not super bulky, but like this part is. So chop it off like this. Maybe it's hollow too. Right? Like this. You just need to figure out the cool shape for it. Actually, Booleans would be great here. You just pick a shape and then you draw the hole. So, like this. Okay, cool. And then you can refine the shape of the hole. And we're just trying to make a cool shape for this, right? And maybe there's a cut somewhere. Let's figure this out. There's a cut in the shape, but it makes like a reinforcement in the shape of the blade, if that makes sense. And then Boolean this, see? How does that look? Be more precise here with our cut. I'm not a huge fan. We've been doing this for like 2 hours and a half, and now I'm losing my energy a bit, so I'm not as good with my shape design. So maybe we keep it simple. So I'm getting hungry. You have some cool like artifact that was there when you stretch it, and I'll leave it in there. Okay, whatever. It's good enough. Move this over. Make sure you have angle snap. I'm gonna move it to the center of this thing. I'm closing one eye just to be able to align stuff as best as I can. Thoroughly eyeballing it. It's a bit bigger than this. So scale it down. Move it. Flip it. I don't know, this one was better. Go eat. I want to figure out this accent. After that, I'll go eat. But yeah, there's something cool about this that we can't replicate. Like sometimes the sketchiness of it is just so nice and free. Like you have cool shapes, and then when you're trying to refine it, you're like you get too precise, and then you fuck up your whole thing. So let's go back to this. Let's remove this, and we'll try to keep it as close as this as we can. But cleaning it up just a little bit. So I'm gonna remove the angle snapping. This. I think I know what I can do. I just want it to be sharp, so what I'll do is I'll just add a sharp edge, right? Like this. Make sure it's nice and sharp. And then we're gonna take this and we're gonna fucking stretch it like this. So that it looks pointy, but we still keep our shape that we liked. And then something like this. And then we can detail this. Yeah, that works better. Still see some artifact because when you zoom out, like the edge is not, you know, sharp, but whatever. When we're gonna render it, it's gonna look just fine. A chainsaw edge. I mean, that would also be really cool with like the repetition thing, right? Just take this guy, make one cool looking sharp tooth, and then, you know, that's kind of cool. I mean, it's gonna be pretty high frequency detail for what we have. I want to keep let's say I want to keep the smallest shapes around this size, just so we have something cohesive. But that would be pretty cool to have, you know. It's very Elden Ring looking thing, like a bone saw, you know. But the theme of this guy is big and blocky, so let's keep him big and blocky. And maybe there's a little flat surface on this so that he has like some kind of gripping surface. Handle, the pommel. It's kind of neat. Maybe we split along this. Just so we have, you know, a bit more variation in the shape. It's not just like one long flat looking thing. It's kind of neat. Okay. And then make little cuts. Split tool is cool, yeah, I like it a lot. Actually, what if this was red? That is cool. I'm gonna flip this around. Actually, can I just use the mirror tool? No. Wait. Can I? This guy. Repetition. Mirror. That way. Yeah, kinda. Whatever. Oh, shit. Let's copy it, flip it, and slap it there. And remove some of this. Gonna be behind, so it's not the end of the world if it's not symmetrical. Nobody's gonna zoom in there. Back to gray. Add just a little bit more detail. And then in this, some cuts. This. Yeah. Alright, neat. Maybe red here too. Just a bit. Okay, sick. This, I'm gonna group it. I'm gonna move it on the back again. And get rid of this one. And since it's a group, it's moving off the axis of the symmetry, but that's not the end of the world. Alright, pretty happy with this guy. Maybe one small little thing. First of all, I'm gonna hide all of this, so when we export, it doesn't show up. I'm gonna fix the feet in this, and the feet are like clipping through the floor. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select the floor. I'm gonna make a boolean out of the floor, and I'm gonna select the feet, and I'm gonna boolean the floor with the feet. And then clear my booleans. So now it's flat with the floor. And I can chop the floor a bit for presentation. Like this. And maybe we make it like a cool platform. And that's kind of what is bothering me with the angle snap, is like now whenever I make cuts, it's all just aligned. I'd like it to be, you know, just slightly, you know, or have more control over it. That's it. Okay, sick. Last thing, I promise, I'm gonna pick just one more color that goes well with our design. It's red, so maybe complementary to red, like a teal-ish color. And make sure it's not this material. Let's figure out a color that looks well. Blue? Or like just another red, kind of like the Zaku. Like a more orange, darker red. Just for a little bit something extra. Why do you never put decals on your mech? I used to, but it's a bit tedious. So what I do is I use geometry that kind of looks like a decal. So, or I paint it, and it kind of looks like a decal. So let's say you have a decal that's like text, right? With like a little arrow, you know, something like that. I will take this and I will place it on the thing so that it looks like a decal, right? But this is like the very, very fine amount of detail. Like I'm still, let's say you have like a gradient of shapes, of sizes of shapes. Like your big blocking that we did at the first is like 1, and then the second detail, and then the tertiary detail is maybe like this size, and then 4 is like maybe the decals, and then 5 is like edge wear and like, you know, sharp corners. And I don't have time to get all the way to the smallest size. So I usually do it for pieces that I have more time to spend on. But let's say instead of doing decals for this piece, that's what I'm doing right now, is I'll take an extra color that I don't have into my mech, and I'll start adding sparingly, like in some spots, just to add like a little bit of extra complexity. But I won't add it everywhere, and I'll add it like it kind of looks like a decal from far away, right? If you look at this this green guy, he has some orange spots all over him, and it kind of looks like an orange decal, and that's kind of what I'm doing here, right? I'm placing stuff so that it kind of looks like a decal, right? But in my head, I know like this part would be really good for like a big logo. So you fill in the space that would be decal with a small detail. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that. So let's say now I'm still kind of sketching it in, and it's still like one layer. Like if I were to do this more correctly, I would split it. Like I would do a decal layer for the legs and a decal layer for the arms and all that stuff. But right now I'm just trying to wrap things up, so I'm gonna put, you know, the decal looking shapes wherever they should go. And like, how do you know where to put it? Well, it's basically building a lot of Gundam kits, and the more you do, the more you're like, okay, well, decals should go normally, you know, in like in the middle of something, or like in the edge of like a, you know, little corner thing. You know? So see, that's like one color, but we can keep going in, and we can add some white decals, and they're even smaller, right? And it looks like details. Well, it is details, but it looks like something, even if it's just an implication of something, right? It's like how to add more complexity to design, right? And getting very, very fine details, and those could be lights, those could be, you know, bolts or paint or decals or whatever you like. Like this, you know, corners. And, you know, I can even do it symmetrically. Like, I'm eyeballing the symmetry right now. But I could go into the layer and then make a sub-layer and then, you know. But I'm speedrunning finishing this thing, so... Like, if you zoom in on the thing, it's pretty janky, but from far away, it just reads as a thing. So one last one? I know I'm saying one last thing like 5 times, but can we do it with a triangle? N-gon with 3 sides, rounded, and then with some thickness, like this. Bit more thickness, bit more rounded. Then I guess we need more resolution on that layer. And see, that's our other decal. Right? It's decal shaped, but you could do it in your rendering software too, right? You could go in and place textures on it. I find it very tedious to do, and that's why I'm not doing it as much. But it's good that you remind me that I have to do this more. Like, it makes for a more polished image. It looks way more complicated than it used to look like 2 minutes ago. And sometimes you spend a lot of time trying to make everything balanced, and you forget that you need that little extra thing at the end, like that little 5% that's missing that makes it very polished looking. Here. But yeah, I should do this more for sure. Like it's super cool. Also very fun. It's like your whole design is finished and you're just slapping little stickers on it. This is way faster too. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's about it for this guy. Maybe I should clean up at least his eyeballs. And maybe one last thing for real this time. The smallest amount of detail is going to be on his face. Just so that it is like the most complex part of this whole design. Alright, cool. Yeah, hopefully you guys had fun today. I had a lot of fun. And we made a cool guy in a short amount of time. I'll do some nice renders in Keyshot. And then I'll post it on social. And I'll upload everything to YouTube afterwards. So yeah. Thanks for stopping by, guys. And I'll try to do more of these streams more frequently. I know I say that a lot, but I'll try to make it happen. It just takes a lot of time, but it's always fun. So have a good rest of your day, and see you next time.